Hi, welcome to Friends Talk Financial Planning. I'm Bridget Sullivan Mermel, and this is John Scherer. And in this video, we're going to talk about who we're trying to reach, what our inspirations are, a little bit more about our backgrounds, how we got into financial planning, and how we got to know each other in our friendship. So, John, why don't you start with talking about who we're trying to reach?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Bridget. One of the things that's important for me in this, and I think it is for both of us, is to reach people who are smart folks, but that for whom financial planning is not their native language. It's just not natural. It's something they know is important, but it's a challenge. And I relate it for me to physical fitness. That I know being in shape is important, and working out is important, but it takes a lot of work for me to get there. It's just not my natural way of being. And of course, with the financial things, it is my natural way. Like, this is fun for me, and I realize that people are on the other side of that, and if I can help them um, have a sense of control in their lives, that's one of my big purposes for this. And I know, at least in part, that's your purpose also. But what else can you add to that for your side of things, Bridget?
Yeah, I want to give people gentle, consistent encouragement that they've got this and help people sort out what is hype, what is something they shouldn't really focus on, and what is important and what maybe some of the opportunities are that are presenting themselves right now. But I don't want to get things overly complicated. I feel like there's a lot of information out there to handle very complicated questions. And so in your fitness example, that's like the win Wimbledon, run a marathon example. It's like I'm not trying to go for those goals. I want to help people more, like make sure they feel good about common goals like being able to retire.
It's interesting that so much of our world is the financial world is predicated on making it complicated so people feel
Right.
confused. And like, no, it's not. You got this. I think you just said, like, you can get there. So that's a great, that really resonates with me as far as goals for the show here also. To tell me a little bit, Bridget, I want to give our viewers a little background and get to know us a little bit. How I know that you had a CPA practice, but tell me a little bit about more how you got into the financial planning side of things.
Well, it's kind of interesting because I got an accounting degree when I was in college because I felt like I always wanted to be employed. And I had a brain for it. I wasn't bad at math and I could get myself to do it. And I always was interested in business and just businesses and small businesses. And I felt like the accounting degree gave me the best learning opportunity there, which was probably correct, at least in my case. But I also started writing fiction at the time. And so there was this other part of my brain that was underserved. And I ended up getting a master's in liberal studies. So after spending all this time focusing on finances, I really loved studying history of the city or, just different topics. So when I had my tax practice, it was successful, and I liked working one on one with people, but I felt like it overworked part of my brain and underworked another part of my brain. And I also saw people were very underserved in the financial planning industry. And so, I mean, because I saw the results with my clients. And so, with my tax clients. And so, getting into financial planning was a great fit for me because there's a lot of, I call it juice. There's a lot of juice there because it really combines so many different areas, similar to like master's in liberal studies. It like brings a whole bunch of different things together. So that I started it in about 2008. I switched to financial planning and I've really enjoyed it. So, John, tell
That's
me more about your background and how you got into this.
Yeah, it's funny how things evolve over time. So my degree was in teaching. My parents are both teachers, and I thought I was going to go into teaching. And my college roommate's father-in-law was a general manager for an insurance agency, and he said, "Well, geez, if you might think about selling insurance and selling investments and doing financial planning, in quotes." I thought, boy, that always interested me. I thought this would be kind of neat. I could do that, and I quickly realized I didn't want to sell everybody I know whole life insurance in order to make a living, sort of thing. And But then kind of like you, I saw the need that was out there, and
Right.
so I started my business in 2001, and I wanted to go into the fee only side of things, which back then was really sort of out there, and it came from me when my wife and I bought our first house, our only house we live in now, and we had a friend that was helping us as our buyer's agent, and I realized in the process that every house, her job was to get us to buy a house, right? And
Right.
not, not on the same side of the table necessarily. And
Right.
so that was really important for me, as so much of the financial world, especially 20 years ago, was selling insurance, selling investments, front end mutual loads on mutual funds. And
Yeah,
saying, listen, being on the same side of the table, that was really important for me. Yeah.
when I had my tax practice and I was thinking about switching, when I found fee only, it was really important to me because when I had my tax practice, I was looking into different things that I could do because I was interested in investing and interested in that topic. And I was like, I feel like these people are ripping off my clients. I don't want them going from somebody else ripping them off to me ripping them off. And so that was really important. That's when it clicked.
Yeah. For me, I've been saying the same thing for 20 years now, and it's, question the advice. Like, why should I do this versus that? But I never want to question the motive. And that's where I found myself with our realtor is, well, geez, is this the right thing for me? Well, if you get paid the same no matter what, then we can talk about, golly, is that the right
Right.
strategy? But it's not. I make the same either way, do or don't, whatever, buy the insurance or make this investment or do that, that's really important. That's sort of a leading principle for me. And
Right.
it's interesting, Bridget, hearing your story about coming from the accounting side of things, right, and then getting into
Right.
the financial planning and liberal arts study on the other side. Me
Right.
coming from the teaching standpoint, now we're doing this, financial planning
Right.
things, and that sort of diversification or divergence, and that's one of the things I value about our friendship and our relationship. And I want to just, it's interesting to talk about one of our early thoughts about the show is the cat and the dog, right? You're
Right.
from Wisconsin, now you live in Chicago, right in
Right.
the city. I'm from
Exactly.
Wisconsin. I'm still in, and some of the differences, big town and little town, and different approaches, tax focused and teaching focused, and um, so I mean, how we met was through the Alliance of Comprehensive
Right.
Planners, right? Talking about that tax focus, this organization that we both belong to, and found like, oh, this is the place where we don't have to sell people
Right.
mutual funds, where we can actually give advice and get paid for it.
Right.
And interesting thinking back and when we had a chance to first meet and how our relationship has evolved.
Right, exactly. I mean, I remember you probably don't remember this, but it was at a conference, my first conference that I went to. So this was one of those situations that's emblazoned into my memory. And I met about three different ACP advisors, and I hadn't even joined ACP yet, and you were one of them. And then when after I joined, I remember coming up to visit you in Madison. I'm like, I
Yeah.
always like a trip to Madison, so because I went to college there, and so yeah, and then it's taken off from there.
Yeah, yeah. I was thinking about that just recently. The we had just those new hotels had just been built near my house, and kind of
Right.
didn't know each other, and had a chance to sit and visit. And so it is. So our show is Friends Talk Financial Planning. Of course, Bridget and I are both in the financial planning world, but these are the conversations we have as friends that we sit around and talk when we get together with our spouses and enjoy each other's company. So,
Exactly. Yeah. So with that, we'll wrap it up, and we'll just again say subscribe to our channel. We're really happy you're here. And also, if you're interested, you can check out ACP. We just plug them, but they're not paying us. We're just doing
right,
it on a volunteer, just to pitch in. So
right. That's right.
thanks again for joining us.
Right.